Hello, welcome. Continuing the series, The Million Dollar Information, I'll start today's conversation with two questions. 1. Do you care about the world in which your descendants will live in the future? 2. Do you think they will be able to emigrate to another planet in the more distant future? If you wish them to live well right here on Earth, pay attention to the perspectives that I raised in 15 years of studies, and join me to start looking for the reversal of these perspectives. I'm Domingos de Andrade from Brazil, accountant, auditor, controller, sociologist, and writer. Don't forget to leave your like and subscribe to my channel. Today's content is the continuation of my first video, and among other things, I will talk about the possible natural way to reduce the world's population, and I'll also present a prognosis about the future of our Amazon forest. See my first video in English in the playlist above. My differentiated approach to environmental and cultural issues is based on the natural logics that govern the content of our planet and, therefore, without the influence of the economic system, whose logic has been rigorously considered in my studies of the changes that have taken place on our planet over the past 70 years. And the main logic, from which all the others derive, is summarized in the following sentence. The natural resources that guarantee the subsistence of our planet's organic life are fragile and have a finite character, whose logic can be verified by the layman vision of any minimally enlightened human being, and certified by the scientific collection that humanity already has. And following this logic, when we pay attention to the fact that the world population volume is the main cause of the gradual increase of the global temperature, and also to the projection of the world population growth in 26% in the next 30 years, according to the United Nations Organization, since they are born daily about 2.38 people for each one who dies, even in these pandemic times, we realize that it's misleading to think that with just a change in lifestyle with a focus on the environment, it will be possible to balance the equation. Available natural resources versus demand for consumption. Since no one can stop it or to pass to it much less than they can be eating, as well as no one will stop inventing and building things, and nor of consuming trinkets, because that is part of the ongoing intellectual evolution, an intrinsic condition of the race human. Therefore, in the face of the 7.8 billion people in the world and in accelerated growth, just changing the lifestyle will produce only palliative effects without long-term effectiveness, considering the following question. The continued growth of the world population will require a gradual increase in food production, which will accelerate the weakening of land and its consequent desertification, and will force the deforestation of the remaining forests, which consequently will accelerate the drying up of drinking water sources, and add to that the environmental degradation caused by the effects of consumption relative to other human needs, whose situation represents the engine that gradually increases the temperature of our planet. This logic makes us realize that the tolerance limit of the environment on our planet has expired a long time ago, and imposes urgency in the implementation of a measure to reduce the world population contingent, which would be to establish the conception of only one son or daughter per couple, or at worst, stop the world population from growing, which presupposes to establish the conception of a maximum of 2 children per couple. Since, similarly like dinosaurs, we are frantically eating and destroying everything that we see ahead. The high demographic density in some regions of the planet has created serious social problems such as terrorism, wars, misery, and other criminalities, whose reality has worsened with each passing year, resulting in the forced emigration of more than 70 million people in the last 5 years. Therefore, the rich nations that still enjoy some tranquility at the moment, with no major social issues to manage, rest assured that if the world population continues to grow unchecked, in 2 or 3 decades they will live without this tranquility. In Brazil, which in addition to not being a rich country and having more than 20 million unemployed, in its largest cities we already find the so-called screening warehouses, which are nothing more than micro-refugee camps, coming from neighboring countries and from the most varied countries abroad. And if the world population continues to grow at the current rate, the Amazon forest, which represents one of the few natural niches for recycling atmospheric air in the world, will not support the pressure of demand for human consumption. The extraction of native wood, the pollution of water with mercury by miners, and the illicit appropriation of land will only increase from now on. And by extension, if indigenous communities are not prepared for the new times, their problems will double with each passing year, because in addition to the impact of the gradual extinction of forests and the pollution of rivers, they will not be able to insert themselves into the urban lifestyle, a fact that already occurs with several indigenous communities in Brazil. Government actions will be made tighten control and stanch the advance of deforestation for some time, which will negatively impact agrobusiness. That is one of the main economic modalities in Brazil. But if populations continues to grow, nothing will save the Amazon forest. And it will no longer be just a matter of greed for the extraction of the valuable resources that the Amazon territory contains, but mainly due to the need for food production and job generation. We are the top of the food chain, therefore we have no natural predators. And although the human race is always making it possible to create ways to self-destruct, like the wars, for example, in the last 70 years the world population has grown 312%. However, according to my studies, the ideal volume of the human population in the world, which could guarantee the continuity of organic life on Earth, is only 4.5 billion people. Only then would adequate space and time be guaranteed for nature to recover from the damage caused by humans. We are fascinated by the wonders generated by the advancement of technologies, although we are also concerned with the gradual loss of privacy, but none of this will matter when water and food are running out. If the world population continues to grow, hunger and thirst will become the worst catastrophes to be experienced by humanity in the not-too-distant future, a fact that no technology in the world will be able to avoid, which would represent the biggest disappointment for the creator or creators of this wonder called planet Earth. I was educated under the religious values of the Catholic Church, but today I understand God in the sense of what I can do to help Him preserve His work, and not in the sense of how much He can help me. I understand that in addition to the opportunity for us to be here, God already provides us with everything we need to spend a season in this paradise, which unfortunately is being destroyed by most of the people who pass through here. And ironically, they live asking for God's help to solve problems that they themselves create. My dear viewer, I hope you enjoyed my point of view on environmental issues and that you follow my upcoming videos, and thanks so much for your attention, and don't forget to give your like and click on the subscription button.